Alright, we are in Loser's Bracket, everybody. The Infernal Shrines Battleground is our first map of the day as we're heading into the last chance qualifier once more for the Eternal Conflict. Again, all of this played out on the new patch, obviously. And now we have the Enjoyers going up against Names Are Overrated. Best of 5 series between the teams, no draft restrictions. 1,500 euros are on the line here. And we should have some fun games today. Not only the series at hand with Names Are Overrated and the Enjoyers, but obviously what's to come later on too. The final teams are trying to qualify for the playoffs. We already have a few teams waiting there. We started all of this out with 2 groups of 5 teams each. So 4 teams have already advanced, and it should be good. Tracer gets banned out. We had a lot of adjustments made to the new patch. The biggest changes, obviously, the experience globes. The small globes got removed completely, which means that experience globes in general, the time where they remain on the map has now been significantly reduced. So you need to be a bit more crisp with your rotations and the way that you stay on lane. And, of course, the Inspire mechanic around minion pushers. And that apparently still confuses people. I still have tons of people coming to the live streams asking me what the Inspire mechanic exactly is. Fairly simple. If you push with a minion wave and you attack structures, auto-attack structures with your hero, while minions are nearby, they get the Inspire buff, which gives you 35% additional movement speed and attack speed, and therefore helps you to push lanes down. So opponents should always make sure that if there's a hero pushing somewhere, that they have someone dealing with this and taking the minions down. There are a couple of more changes to the game. We might talk about some of those later, but obviously those are the biggest one. To offset the Inspire mechanic, we have additional hit points on structures, 12.5% extra health for all of them, which played already a bit of a role in some instances where teams were trying to make a push for the core, especially when we're talking about something like All Direct Pass. It was kind of noticeable a little bit. On other maps, not really all that much, but rule of thumb, if you have an objective that directly attacks the structures, then obviously now it's going to take them a little bit longer. Tyrael gets picked as our first pick. We actually had him already chosen quite a few times, and on the other side, alright, Varian, we're going to get some taunts in today with a Hogger. I'm still curious to find out if we're going to get some, pocket picks. We had teams adjust really well to the changes that are already lined out earlier, but we might see a few more shenanigans with teams experimenting with certain comms and heroes. Also, there was a hotfix after we had Group B that I spoke about in some of the previous games, but it's the first one that you watched. Then Vala has been fixed, so she's allowed again, and on top of that, we also have Zagara's level 13 talent that was a bit bugged. Now, yeah, back in the rotation, it's allowed again. So Sylvanas and Dehaka are currently being picked. AK, we have immediately a global again, and we also have with Sylvanas another hero that can push. So we saw a few teams already play around that as they were trying to side push with Dehaka, and then they did the same with Sylvanas in an attempt to just execute a bit of a macro play more so than just fighting for the team fight or something of the sorts. So, well, with that, we now have, obviously, Sergeant Hammer banned out. We had a couple of interesting Hammer games already, where essentially teams like DDX were going back to that Spider-Mine build, which worked surprisingly well on Infernal Shrines. And since this is the same map, I think the Enjoyers are just making sure that we're not gonna get that set up here in this game either. Apparently they don't want to deal with it. So, by now we have Genji banned out too. Then it's going to get interesting. If you are going for Varian, Kerrigan too. I was just about to say, you need some burst damage and follow-ups, and there we get the first ones. Anduin with a light bomb potentially, and Kerrigan is going to add additional stuns too. So if Varian setting things up with a taunt, Kerrigan with a combo right on top of it, Anduin could contribute the light bomb if needed, but they need to have some real nice damage from Limu, who is the sub player today for the Enjoyers. The Enjoyers are indeed playing with a sub. Yeah, and for Names Are Overrated, we get Uther, and we get Deathwing. Deathwing is getting played a little bit more often right now. So we've seen him 2 times already, once in Group B and once in the last chance qualifier. And so once again, it's Deathwing time. Seems like slowly but steadily, Deathwing might make his way back into the meta. It's a little bit too early to tell, but it's kind of nice that we at least have a few appearances these days from him. because Deathwing essentially disappeared for the last couple of months completely. There's Vala. I like it. Limo and Vala, that should be a good one. Infernal Shrines, everybody. The best of 5 series kicks off right here. We got the Enjoyers against Names are overrated. Let's go. Enjoyers against Names overrated. It's party time. We get an auto attack for Limu for the blue team. Vala played by the Enjoyers as Richu plays Hogger for them. We have Briss on Kerrigan, Arion on Varian, and Gamer Boy is playing Anduin. On the right side of the map, the Dark Wolf for Names are overrated with Tyrael. We have Madron on Sylvanas, Mr. Taika on Dehaka, Hanzuka on Uther, and Dragor is playing Deathwing. So, the Dragon Soul on level 1, and, well, finally real dragon in the house. I've been tortured with too many Chromie appearances, and nobody likes a fake dragon. It's all about the real deal, and it doesn't get any more real when it comes to dragons than Deathwing himself. At least we had some Alexstrasza lately too. But there's already the combo from Kerrigan as the push at the bottom of the map is already coming in. So, let's see how this is gonna go. Sylvanas jumps out right away. We still have a push at the top lane from Hogger, and in the middle it is Dehaka who's making his play there. Double checking the bush here, interesting little barbecue. I mean, with Kerrigan and Varian around, you can never be too careful. You need to make sure that they're not just jumping on you. Same time now, 11 stacks already for Limu. And Limu's Vala is actually a lot of fun. I mean, we've seen Limu on a lot of the auto attackers in the past, and seeing him on Vala here is going to be pretty cool. As long as he survives, of course, and Limu has a bit of a reputation to be quite aggressive. Pretty good with what he does here, but also far out there. So the red team is going to try and jump on him and take him down. Basically, what Dragor decided to do is go for the druggy skin. I mean, this honestly looks like a drug addict's drug-addled fever dream. When we talk about the color combination. Myself, I'm leaning more towards just the black tint that just looks really fantastic. And of course, then we got the Jade Dragon as well. But at the end of the day, as long as you don't go for the chicken, I'm totally fine with you. If you don't go for the turkey skin, then we're all good. This one, on the other hand, for me, little bit too colorful. It's too happy, you know? It's just like, ugh. Too much happiness. I don't need any of this. So, Kerrigan, on the other hand, the dark, I was about to call her the Dark Queen, and then she got out the pom-poms and the heart, and was like, okay, maybe not the best example to point out here. So yes, apparently we're just all happy today. People are preparing for Halloween and are starting to get their costumes out. Alright. Oh, my bad. Limu getting the stacks together, sitting at 37. We got Hogger aiming for the next camp. Camps one a little bit faster now too. And ho ho ho! Kerrigan! My girl bit off a little bit more than she can chew. Went for Deathwing and only found the sweet embrace of death in that battle. So, yeah, the Queen of Blades going down. And then, in the meantime, the first objective is about to spawn. But nice little start for Names are overrated. We had a couple of really nice runs also, of course, over the last couple of weeks, not only in the group stage, but also here. Problem is that thus far, we haven't been able to qualify or anything of the sorts. But with that, we have Sylvanas doing her thing. She at least embraces, you know, the dark spirit, okay? So we at least, look at that, the horse too. Yeah, okay, that's more like it, okay? Maybe the horse is a little bit too happy as well, like, I don't know. We need something a little bit more. I need a sad cloud in the game or something. But the objective is up. Blue team has started to take a small lead on minion stacks here. Hogger just hogging as usual. Spin to win from his perspective. Kerrigan isn't here. She's kind of sleeping on the drop a little bit at this point. And is now slowly making her way towards the top as Vala gets her first quest reward. And works in those auto attacks. And has been doing pretty well so far. But Kerrigan is now slowly saying hi. They want the early level 7. Don't have it just yet. Deathwing gets attacked. And, well, is starting to drop a little bit low here, if you ask me. And it's not the only one. The Dark Wolf, for example, is running out of hit points quickly. Tries to get the explosion off. Kerrigan is getting hit by it. But the rest of the red team is retreating as we have the first Punisher of the game. Now again, Punishers don't jump over gates any longer. This gate is nearly destroyed, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah, will very quickly be eliminated. You can't bait it into the fort range anymore, which traditionally would mean that the Punishers are a little bit buffed, but keep in mind that structures have now more health, so that plays a role too. And the attacks are already coming with Vala just stacking those auto attacks, trying to go for the Haka. And Mr. Taiko had to jump out there, as everybody else is now making their plays. We got 94 stacks for Vala, who's doing a very good job stacking. So as long as Limo doesn't die, he is going to have a pretty good time here. That, of course, brings us back to the question also what exactly Tyrael is going to take on level 10. We've seen a lot more Judgment than Sanctification lately. And with Judgment, you could, of course, try and go for Vala directly. Take her down, Judgment, Wailing Arrow behind it, and then, you know, make the big play. Currently also, the attack still coming here. Kerrigan jumping in. And Vala with the second reward on her level 1 quest. Top side, Hogger is getting a free push here. I mean, the Inspire minion are doing work on this one. And the Haka is coming in, but he is a little bit late to the party. This is an enormous amount of damage on that fort. That is half the HP on the fort gone. While the team is fighting down at the bottom of the map. Scorched Earth from Deathwing as he goes in deep, but the camp is already taken by the Enjoyers. Sylvanas makes it out with basically negative hit points here. Damn, this game is starting to explode a little bit. And Hogger is still pushing. I mean, Hogger is just going for it. Mr. Taiko is having some real troubles here. And Hogger, no problems. I mean, this thing is down to 25% of its HP. The blue team is at the same time stealing camps away from their opponents. And they're pushing for the bot lane once more as Deathwing is trying to defend. Everything is going well for the Enjoyers. They have an early level 10 Strafe for Vala, Ultralisk for Kerrigan. Getting a Shockwave for Hogger. And Deathwing taken to the skies as that bottom wall is falling. And Limu is just dancing around, getting those hatred stacks up. And is doing the work. 127 stacks for him right now. Keeps the hatred still in play as he starts to weave those auto attacks in. A couple more. And it's going really well for them. I mean, Limu is ripping them apart, at least thus far. And up at the top, Hogger is doing an excellent job against the Haka. Kerrigan just sitting in the wings, waiting. Any opportunity, as soon as names are over it, are trying to pounce here with level 10 abilities, Kerrigan is going to be ready for it. We get the Wailing Arrow, still waiting for Judgment, there it is, alright, so they could try and go for Limo, and they will eventually. That combo of Judgment and... I think Tyrael was already getting ready for it, but yes, Judgment and Wailing Arrow as a combo could be a real big problem. Hogger is getting a free push at the top lane again, and he will take that fort out. So that's huge success on the side lane for the Enjoyers. Vala gets the quest reward again, dances around Deathwing, there's Judgment, Anduin instantly with the pull as the ult comes out from Deathwing. They're trying to go for Kerrigan and they might be able to get her, but they need to take Vala down at some point because she is ripping them a new one. And she will get, of course, a Manticore on 16. Vala with one attack after another. As Varian dies, Sylvanas gets murdered by Vala and she comes in with a double kill as she takes Deathwing out. Anduin has fallen. Here comes Strafe. Vala diving in and maybe a little bit too deep. Dodges the tongue and goes for Mr. Taiko, who barely escapes. The Dark Wolf is also on the run. Vala nearly at 4 rewards now. And during all of this, Hogger has not only taken down that fort at the top lane, but has also started up on the camp. The Enjoyers with some absolutely spectacular plays right now, and even more pressure now through the middle as we have Vala on 45,000 damage. 45,000 damage right now, which is honestly enormous if you compare it to the opponent. I mean, she's more than doubling what Sylvanas brings to the table. Limu still needs to be very, very careful. Judgment is back up. There's the heal. They try to go for Limu again. Tyrael is already here. Is low and might actually die here. Anduin again with the save. Limu kind of overdoing it a little bit, to be honest with you. Should at least wait for the next talent, which he now has for the extra self-sustain. But yeah, the push at the top. The Frozen Punishment claimed by Hogger, and nobody is really doing any... Well, they're not pushing as a team with it. Hogger is pushing with it. And the rest of the team is getting busy in the middle as Kerrigan has now dropped down to the bottom of the map. Lots of pressure from the Enjoyers. Game number 1, and they're already trying to make a statement here. 1.5 levels ahead of the opponent. Kill count is absolutely identical. Here comes Judgment on Kerrigan. Wailing Arrow and the kill. They get the kill in, but Vala with more hits, more damage, and the kill against Sylvanas. Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood over here is doing an absolute number on them. But now cornered, and that's a kill. It should be a kill. Strafe is used, the heal, the light bomb, and Limu gets out. Great job by Gamerboy keeping Vala alive. And she is not letting up here in the slightest. Big lead in minion experience now for the Enjoyers. They're taking full advantage of the changes. And we also have them ahead in mercenary experience and of course passive XP too. But they keep pushing and they take out that fort in the middle. Hogger, he's done a lot of damage at the top lane already with the help of that objective of the Punisher. So this one is down to 50% of its HP. And after successfully eliminating the fort in the middle, the blue team is now slowly moving down to the bottom of the map. But this is just absolutely rough. Limu is a surgeon wielding a scalpel here as he comes in with one precision attack after another, dancing around the opponent, taking advantage of those hatred stacks. Needs to get away from the Haka, though. The Haka wants to lick. Can they get the kill here this time? Limu, good damage. Isolation is already out. Anduin is on protective duty and gets licked himself now. Better you than me, buddy. He goes down. Vala with a strafe. And the red team is losing Deathwing, but both Anduin and Varian have been eliminated. The father-son duo is down. The names are overrated, trying to extinguish the entire family, and they're doing a fantastic job on it. Now they only have to take Jaina down, Varian's mistress, and the trio is eliminated. But she's unfortunately for them not in the game, so they have to wait for one of the next ones. But there's finally the kill on Vala. Yeah, I mean, again, at this point, what are you going to do? Either you give up the fort, or you're just accepting that you might die, and that's what he did. He has, of course, Manticore now. One death on Vala at the 11-minute mark, given how deep into the game we are already, is not the worst. So, currently, we have a 75,000 damage, which is still absolutely insane. Losing 5% of the attack speed bonus, honestly, with how many stacks Limu has, it's not really that big of a deal. But it's still pretty impressive how far he was able to go with it so far. Would have been kind of funny if they would have been able to, you know, keep Vala alive throughout all of it. And they did a great job trying to do that. Now we have level 16 versus 16. Those extra kills for names are overrated at the bot lane. Of course, gave them a bit of an experience boost, which caught them up. But now that Vala is back, Limu is sharpening his arrow tips. He has Manticore and he's not afraid to use it. Deathwing. Deathwing is at this point starting to turn into a bit of a scared kitten. That big dragon, yeah, Vala with Manticore and all of that extra damage she gets through a level 1 talent. She's gonna have a good one there. So, Limu is actually really close to completing the entire level 1 quest, which you don't see all that often this early in the game. Nice camp again up at the top lane. Push down here at the bottom as the shrine is slowly activating. Varian is already on it. He's gonna try and get that taunt in. And yeah, Anduin hiding in the back as usual. Here comes Deathwing, here comes the Haka. They're jumping on them, they're trying to go for Hogger. Wailing Arrow comes out too. Vala still alive, but Kerrigan is gone. Can Kerrigan carry again? And apparently today she might not be able to. Anduin saves his daddy, and Sylvanas apparently has a little bit of a death wish. Jumps in and is instantly met by the arrows of Vala, which rip her apart a bit. So Vala is trying to push for this, but with a 5 versus 4, there's only so much that the Enjoyers can do right now. The red team is started to take over on the shrine and gets the superior numbers here. As Vala is again dancing around. We got 22 stacks for Tyrael, by the way. Dehaka gone. Yeah, Varian came in with another taunt and allowed them to get the kill here. Vala, alright, gotta be careful here. And the Punisher is marching through the bottom of the map. They should try, of course, to take it down quickly, not lose that keep, and, well, it seems like the red team is more interested in going for the forts. Hogger got a bit caught out of position there, did apparently not expect the rotation, so now they're pushing for the middle, and that means that the Punisher is going to disappear very, very quickly. I mean, Vala is getting mad damage out, and this thing isn't even able to take a single tower down. So, yeah, they move towards the middle and save that too, which essentially means that names are overrated, just wasted the entire objective. I mean, seriously, what did that Punisher do? Essentially nothing. I guess the game plan was really let it push the bot lane, we go to the middle, we take the fort, they got the Haka. But after that, there was nothing else to really do. So, I suppose a bit of a disappointing objective for them. They are ahead in kills though. If you look at the hero experience, they are massively ahead there. It's really the passive experience and also the minion experience that kind of saves the blue team on that account. But the team fights will still be interesting here. I like the combos that we're getting from Names Are Overrated when they are unleashing with Tyrael, with Sylvanas as a follow-up, and also getting the Haka into the mix. But as long as they're not able to take down Vala, this is still going to be pretty tough for them. Sylvanas is slowly starting to catch up in damage, but she's absolutely nowhere near the output that we're getting from Vala here. And a lot of this is, of course, single target damage too. So Strafe is boosting those numbers a little bit. And I can only assume that Limo kind of fat-fingered his ult button, because that was very interesting timing to get the ult out. You usually don't lead into a fight with it, and the opponent wasn't even in range at any point. But level 20 is coming up soon, and that gives them even more range. Varian is up at the front again. He's going to be looking for that taunt. Has to be also a little bit careful that he doesn't mix his taunts up. You can easily go for Uther and go in and be like, yo, your mama is so fat, Stitches can't even hook her. But if you try the same insult on Deathwing, it doesn't really work the same way. Deathwing is just going to turn around and say thank you. Because, you know, having a big fat dragon is usually a good thing. So, Varian has been practicing his taunts and insults all day, every day. So that he can taunt all the Schnitzelkinder over here. You have a face only a mother can laugh. No! And then, you know, mad attacks. Quest completed for Vala, so off we go. And now with also the... Oh, actually went for Acrobat here. Interesting. Okay. Acrobat for a little bit more Death Dealer action here. So Limu prefers the mobility that he's going to have. Gets the Khaldor drops out too. I would have expected, yeah, different choices. Damage, range, any of those, but nope. It's all about just dancing around the opponent, triggering the level 4 a little bit, getting the Khaldor drops out as well. And yeah, nice for him. Doesn't really want to stay at a safe distance and instead just make its play here. So we have still the next objective coming up, and this could very well be, I mean, not really the last one, I guess, unless the blue team absolutely obliterates them. But it could be a pretty important one for this game. Both teams on level 20, which gives us now the Angel of Justice, Tyrael, instantly jumping in and dying a painful death as a result. So he goes full on Leroy! And Sudoku's into the opponent's team. Hoga! Hoga with a big ping, the pong! And then Deathwing is also gone. Nice. 10 kills to 10. And yep, that was quite something. Vala dances around Uther and gets Hanzuka, which means that everybody with the exception of the Haka is now gone. Huge fight, of course, for the blue team. And now the play towards the top where they take out the keep and then go straight for the core. Vala with 102,000 damage in the game. Fantastic opening into the series for the Enjoyers. A really well executed victory by them. And awesome, awesome first game, I gotta say. Infernal Shrines goes to the blue team as the Enjoyers take the 1-0 lead over Names Are Overrated here in the losers bracket of the last chance qualifier for the Eternal Conflict. GG. We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before we continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Tomb of Spider Queen, map number 2. The Enjoyers in the lead now. So great performance on Infernal Shrines. To be fair, it's not like Names Are Overrated got overrun there or anything. They had a lot of cool moments, were even pulling ahead at some point, even when it was just a little bit. But Limu on Vala was just way too impactful. And it wouldn't shock me if they at some point decide to ban Vala out. I mean, again, we've known Limu for his Vala play for a long time, so that doesn't really come as a massive surprise. If anything surprises me right now, it's how long they need for a ban, but they're eliminating Lucio, okay. So this is a typical standard draft. It means there are no draft restrictions that we have for the tournament. But of course, teams will adjust a bit to what the opponent is doing and has been drafting, what they're successful with. White main gets banned, sort of info also through scrims that teams have of each other. And who knows, Tomb of Spider Queen might get us also to some hero choices that we typically don't see here all that often. We have, since the new patch dropped, only seen, I want to say one game on Tomb of Spider Queen, maybe a second. But even before, we already had, you know, people experiment with Asmodan a little bit, with a couple of other heroes. Now we're seeing Deathwing a bit more often, so we might see some changes here. Of course, the typical heroes for Tomb of the Spider Queen still strong. Johanna, very likely going to be picked or banned. Then we have typically Junkrat, Hanzo, they're being played around too. And they have now to decide how they want to play this one out. With the teams at hand, I could also see a pick into Medivh come through eventually. So that's another one to really keep in mind for the best of 5 series here. But right now we're going to find out if Names Are Overrated is going to be able to tie it up, or if we're going to get the 2-0 advantage. Kerrigan gets banned out, okay. While impactful, not sure if she was the problem on the last map. We have Johanna, first picked. Again, doesn't really shock, I just talked about it. It's the AoE, it's the wave clear that you really want. And now that we have the Inspire mechanic for minion waves, AoE, in my opinion, is even more important because you want to clear those very, very quickly. You have, of course, much more of a rotational play when you're talking about Tomb because the lanes are so close together. But after Jojo has been taken, they go for Blaze and they also take Anduin. Alright. So, Anduin is going to add his girly charms to the red team this time. Last map he was obviously part of the Enjoyers lineup. And now with we're getting Leo. So we're staying in the Diablo universe for now with the picks. Leo for the bot lane, more AoE, more wave clear, get the Tomb out too. And then we get Kel'Thas. Nice. I like the Kel'Thas pick. We've seen that once or twice already. One of the cool things, of course, of playing Kel'Thas on this map is that Mana Addict can really be fed with one globe after another. So you can really just come in and stack up his level 1 by rotating him between the lanes. And he has also been adjusted slightly in the last patch. Let's not forget about that. But we can talk about that later. By now, time for the final few bans here. Also, of course, I'm keeping an eye out on Limo again. But Genji gets banned by the team that I could have totally seen picking Genji, considering that they have Anduin. That Light Bomb engage is not really as impactful and picked as often as it was in the past, but it's still a really nice combo to have and helps you to attack the opponent's backline, so it's something that teams can play around still. Now, with Genji banned out, we still have a couple of really strong heroes for Tomb of the Spider Queen in the form of Hanzo and Junkrat, so I would be surprised if neither of the two of them would be picked or banned. One of the two should be happening here. Helps you also when your opponent is attempting to go for a turn-in. Easy attacks, easy hits from the outside, from range to interrupt. And now with Sylvanas banned out, of course the question of what are they following that up with. Blaze on the sideline is already great for them. Anduin, as much as I love making fun of him, great and fantastic hero. I still can't believe that his trait just gets that second hit also on 16. I mean, so crazy. And apparently now they believe that they have to go for Anduin variant. So, yeah, father-son united once more in game number 2. We get Hanzo, so that leaves Junkrat as a possible pick for the Enjoyers if they really want to pair Kel'Thas with him. But with Hanzo, there is a bit more vision. There's also interrupts against turn-ins. And then we have the Varian Blaze stun combo with Anduin as a follow-up. But interesting that the teams are now battling over these two. Cassia and Oriel. Okay. Cassia, Oriel, and Kel'Thas. That's a nice team for the Enjoyers. A little bit outside of the norm of what you would normally expect here. But definitely here for it. Would love to see Limu go into stacks. We need more minigames. The success on Vala's level 1 was great. Maybe now they can do a similar thing with Cassia here. Try and aim for a new record. That leaves us, of course, with our last pick on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And let's go straight for map 2 with Chromie as the burst damage follow-up on all of the CC that the red team is now stacking. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Second map in the best of 5 series here in the losers bracket of the last chance qualifier. The Enjoyers are in the lead. The blue team on the left side of the map now with Gamerboy on Oriel. We get Limu on Cassia, Richu on Leoric, Arian on Joanna, and Kelthas with Mana Addict, as expected, is played by Briss. We have now 3 charges for Rebirth on level 20 for Kelthas, if you go that far. So that's the only adjustment in the patch, but again, at least a few adjustments made. Whereas over on the right side, we now have Names Are Overrated with the Dark Wolf on Varian, Hanzuka on Anduin, we got Mr. Taiko on Blaze, Philadelphia on Hanzo, and Madron is playing Chromie. So, let's see if the red team can bring this one back. I mean, there is definitely a chance that they are able to pull that off, but we'll have to see. For now, though, what we're getting first is, of course, down at the bottom of the map. Mr. Tiger still sitting very much alone. It's a 5 versus 4 in the middle of the map currently. And my prayers were apparently heard, because we have stacks for Cassia. Cassia is stacking it up on level 1, so we have more of our little mini-games here when it comes to talent stacking. Quick move out as the Dark Wolf is riding on the White Wolf. I mean, I like that we have a wolf at least thematically right now, and I prefer the White Wolf myself over the Dark variation. But if you're called the Dark Wolf, I mean, this is a step in the right direction, don't get me wrong. But I still think, I'm not going as far to say this is a yellow card, but it's a bit disappointing, isn't it? I mean, you called the Dark Wolf, pick the Dark Wolf. It's right there in the name, buddy. So, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. At least he went for a wolf. Maybe the other one wasn't available. So they had to go for the Jon Snow variation. Who knows? They went for Ghost. Now, all the way at the top, we have currently Madron and Arian, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, they went for Ghost over here. I hope that's the only thing that he takes from George R.R. Martin and the Song of Ice and Fire, because if the Dark Wolf is as late to the team fights as the author is in writing the new book, which will never come out, by the way, then good night. Then his team is going to be completely abandoned and lost. As is the fan base of George R.R. Martin and every single fan of Song of Ice and Fire, as sad as it is. But, well, that's unfortunately the reality we live in. So, quick fight just at the gate. Taunt is out. Could be used right now. So they're still waiting it out a little bit. And Hanzo gets killed. So is Leo. He's dead too. But, of course, he's going to come back a lot faster than that. Couldn't go for a second kill here, but yep, lots of action already coming up and aggression that we're getting from the two team. At the same time now, we have at the bottom of the map, Leo respawning. 14 stacks for Cassia in the meantime. And, well, returning attempts from Arian, and here's Brothers in Blue over here. So, we're getting 27 gems turned in. And I actually like that they're safeguarding those as quickly as they can. This is something that more teams should do, in my opinion. We've seen way too many that lose gem after gem, collecting like 30, whatever, and all of a sudden they get isolated, killed, all the gems are lost. So taking those few seconds to make that happen is fantastic. Varian is dead. His son... No, actually, sorry. Varian killed Kelthas. My bad. I was already getting ready to shit on Anduin again, but nope, he didn't abandon his father for all the daddy issues that that Anduin clearly has. In this case, he helped him to take Kelthas down. So, yep, Kelthas, one of those shifty elves that we have here. Well, really, somebody like tried to explain me the other day, is like, oh, this is a different kind of elf, whatever. They're all tree huggers, every single one of them. Every single one of them is a tree hugger, and if you ever played Warcraft 3, you know that only a dead elf is a good elf. Elves made us watch trees hit each other for hours on end in Warcraft 3. When we were casting competitive tournaments, it took forever. All of those Ancient of Wars just like hitting each other like So yes, hate elves. Hate them. All tree huggers, every single one of them. I don't care what kind of variation you think they are. They all got pointy ears, and they all need to be burned. Undead forever. Hail to all the Warcraft 3 fans out there. Anyways, 24 stacks for Cassia. And while they are still poking around, we haven't seen a single full turn in yet. Now the teams have enough gems, don't get me wrong. but they just haven't gotten to that point yet. Varian is sitting in the bush again, trying to set up a bit of a trap, gets caught out. They make a play for Hanzo, who barely gets away here, but he at least escapes. And Cassia is trying to work additional stacks in. Limu is ready and up at the front there. Both teams now with around 26, 27 gems turned in. And Khaldor is doing kind of okay with his stacks, but is nowhere close to 20 yet. Halfway done with it. As Chromie completes a level 1 quest. Lots of poke happening, but it's more so the red team that is getting closer to a turn. And Hanzuka is actually delivering. So he gets those collected and turns them in right away. In the meantime, we have 33 stacks for Cassia at the 5-minute mark, so a pretty solid effort by Limu. The more brawling we have, the better for him, at least in the long run. Jojo is a little bit low and definitely needs to stop by the fountain. Let's see what she can do there. It would be cool if there was kinda... You know what we need? We need some hero in the game. No, actually, if they add a new hero, I don't want that. But they need to rework a hero that we already have. Maybe someone like Gazlo, you know? He's the tinker. He should be able to tinker with structures a little bit. First of all, you should get Mule. I mean, you have a tinker that doesn't have Mule. Only Abathar. That doesn't make sense in the first place. But then we should have something where you can tinker with fountains. Imagine if you could actually get some buffs onto certain structures, like a fountain, so that they give you, I don't know, more mana for a while, that they give you an extra boost in hit points, that the cooldown gets reset, or something like that. And then maybe even another buff that helps you to just strengthen some towers or forts all along the swords. They should do something like that. Get me a rework for Gazlo that does that, and we're going to see a lot more play around it. So that would be a pretty cool idea. Blizzard, when you're listening, as you should, because why wouldn't you? You can take this one for free. I'm not going to demand any royalties. I'm not going to sue you. So yeah, you're welcome. Oriel goes down. Hoodie Girl gets eliminated by Hanzo. And oh, that jet propulsion. Alright, baby. There's the kill. Down goes Limu. And that is a lot of gems on the ground. And Arian on Jojo. Not able to take all of them back. So now we have the red team with Web Weavers and with a lot of kills against the other team, both on level 10 abilities now. But this is obviously a bit dicey. That arrow that we got from Hanzo was on point, and right now that fort in the middle is suffering. As Arian was trying to flank in here, but that battle isn't quite over. There's the gravity lapse. Yep. In comes Leo with a big swing and drain, but also gets slowed down and stopped. We got Phoenix over Pyroblast, of course. 37 stacks now for Cassia. They're still trying to get some additional damage out there. We have in the numbers Leo with the most damage right now. There's the Valkyrie against Anduin. A follow-up isn't there though. No Entomb ready at this point in time. Hanzo jumps away again. Aegis used. Big arrow, big choke point, but a big heal on top of that. And all of a sudden, Gamer Boy and Arian are fine. That Entomb kind of saving their life too. I actually like the way that they played that. I thought they would lose at least 2. The problem if you go for an Aegis is that you essentially put a bullseye on yourself. But that heal right there and then the Entomb shortly after, that saved the day for them. So, well done. Problem is that with the turn-in from Hanzuka, that's going to be a second objective for Names Are Overrated. And yeah, he's playing with that a little bit. There was a few interrupts, but here we go. So they're able to get that one done. 5 kills, 2-1. 20,000 damage for Cassia now. She takes over the top damage on the blue team side. They were hoping that somebody would come and check on the Siege Giants. Nobody did. So now we have the Web Weavers touching ground again. And yeah, it is the second one in a row for the red team. So how exactly are the Enjoyers going to deal with this now? They lost a lot of gems in the previous encounters, but they still have plenty for turn-ins of their own, as long as they don't lose any heroes here. Fort in the middle will be eliminated. Don't see a way that they can save that, but they took out the Web Weaver at the top fairly quickly. Now the rotation towards the middle. Yeah, Khaldor's already sitting tight there, and then gets some AoE damage out. But here is that push. And that fort is gone. Level 13, that gives another advantage to Names Are Overrated. The idea, of course, now being to try their luck at the bot lane and see if they can do more damage there. Already we have Blaze in a good spot. Siege Giants are helping out too. There's the rotation of the red team. 26 gems on the ground, and they need to try and push in for them if they want to have a shot here, which they do, but the fort is also gone. The arrow and the light bomb follow up shortly after. Aegis gets used and saves Jojo as the team is retreating slowly, but names are overrated, are now definitely in the driver's seat. They still have that talent advantage, one of the reasons why the blue team was a bit reluctant to fight, but now we have on both sides the same talents here. And they need to turn in. They got 85 gems. They have 2 turn-ins in a row now if they play their cards right. But they lost a lot of gems. So there's a lot that they gotta do here. And Arian comes in, delivers for the first turn-in. Keep in mind they can get a second afterwards as long as they don't lose gems here. 50 stacks now for Cassia. Taunt is already out. And a lot of the gems are on Jojo. So she really needs to be careful that she doesn't get crushed here. Can they take some of the forts out? The blue team has a lot of catching up to do if they want to have a shot here. They lost 2 of their forts and they have to at least damage some. Camp spawning at the perfect moment in time, so they did a great job clearing that to prepare for the push. Now the fight happening, and we see the attack against Chromie with another Valkyrie. Light bomb gets dodged out. They go for the slow, and Madron is walking away here. Rename himself into Cabron, because that seems a little bit more fitting, and also fits very well with Chromie as a character. Now, top side, we have the push for the fort, and Blaze is dealing with the bottom of the map, so there's a push currently going on at the top and in the mid lane, and they're getting 1. That's actually not too bad. For objective number 1, getting 1 fort, that's not horrible. Can work with this. Richu with an absolute epic and unique mount. It's fantastic. Basically the deluxe version of the shitty lizard. But currently Richu attacked and is about to fall again. Trait activated. 28,000 damage from Cassia, 38,000 from Hanzo. And here comes the turn and attempt for names are overrated, so they're getting closer to turn in number 3. Whereas the Enjoyers are finding themselves down 1 hero once again. So yes, times are tough. Times are really tough for the blue team. Game number 1 worked very well for them, but now in game number 2, they are struggling a lot more. Level 16 talents are of course now also ready for the red team, making matters even worse. That gives us the Glyph of Faith. We get 1 hit in on Hanzo, maybe a little bit more, and Hanzo makes it out. That cheeky little bastard. Turns it around with an arrow. Nicely done by Philadelphia. So, yep. But that's of course horrific for the Enjoyers. Not only did they not get the kill, they lost their biggest damage dealer. And now their Web Weavers are not going to do a lot. Because it was actually the blue team that secured the Web Weaver wave, not named the Overrated, who got close to getting their next turn in, but were beat by their opponents. But these Web Weavers are of course doing very little. Now to be totally fair, they took at least 1 fort out at the top lane. So that means that the teams are now even in structures. But the same cannot be said for where we are sitting in regards to kills. Only a single kill against names are overrated. So they haven't lost a team fight in a long time over here. Siege Giants at the bottom of the map are also getting attacked right now. So they are the next ones that are getting hit hard, I suppose. Another camp is also up. And it's all about the turn-in attempts that we're now soon going to see from the names overrated, because they have the potential for a lot of momentum here. They already done well, they went for the next objective. There's turn number 3 coming up, but they have still quite a few gems. So they're quite close to turn in number 4 even, if they set everything up properly. There's again, nice light bomb, and Anduin is gone. So this is a little bit different. That might be finally a glimmer of hope for the team in blue, because so far they've been struggling with situations like this, but now they get the kill at the perfect moment in time. It allows them to take those Web Weavers down very easily, and that was big. That was actually huge. It kind of negates the objective of names are overrated, and given the fact that the teams are even in structures and that we have these excess turn-ins from the red team, there's still a good chance for the blue team to bring this back. Mainly phrasing in that way because they're still a level behind and they have only gotten 2 kills. which is of course a bit on the meh side. But down at the bottom of the map, we have now the janitor taking the trash out, taking one minion apart after another, and dropping them pretty quickly here. They have essentially enough gems now. One more is needed. Actually, scratch that, they got it. So now they can go for it. And Arian definitely wants to get rid of his gems. He's been running around with those for a very long time. And yeah, been tired carrying all of that, I suppose. So, yeah. Yeah, not yet. I mean, they are still holding on to this. The problem that I only see is that the Enjoyers should prefer fight now than when level 20 is ready. They won't be able to say, not like that. Cassia! Limu! Quick kill against him. Limu gone. And, well, it didn't cost them a lot of gems, but it cost them momentum. And now, Richu is dead as well. Varian came in, taunted him a little bit, and that is the end of, well, of that fight. I was about to say that backline's a bit low, but nobody is able to get there. 43 gems gone on Johanna as she gets destroyed. And yeah, they're losing way too much here. The gems are all disappearing. The fort at the top is going to be taken out. They're now going for Khaldor. Will drop him too. He gets absolutely ripped apart by the sandwich. And that's the topside fort. And they can now, I mean, honestly, at this point, the world's their oyster. Go for the boss. They don't quite have the turn in yet for number, what is this, number 5? But they are wrecking it. And we're level 20 now on the line. We got Glory to the Alliance for Varian. 56,000 damage for Hanzo. Yeah, it seems like we're headed towards a tie. The Enjoyers are going to have a tough time beating this. Now that they lost all of those gems again. If you have a game where it's 13 kills to 2, you kind of know where the game's going. We've seen a few games. We've seen a fair amount of games, to be honest, at least, where the team that had less kills was still able to win. But for the Enjoyers to make a comeback here, they would first have to soak level 20 and then really to step it up a bit. They turn in some of their gems, not all of them. Didn't quite have enough to get the full turn in, so they want to capitalize on that boss at the top lane. Leo pushing in the middle, trying to get them experience. Off we go. Blessed Shield out. Blue team looking to get some kills here. Can they pull it off? Varian able to get away. And that top side keep is still standing. Leo just says alone, pokes his head out to threaten an entomb. And the opponent starts moving away. The one thing that you really have to kind of accuse names are overrated of is that they do not capitalize enough on the advantages that they have. That's a bit of a problem. Because right now they had everything essentially. And they didn't get enough out of it. On the other side though, we have the Enjoyers with now level 20. Not a lot of gems, but still a chance to get back into this. Flamethrower for Khaldor. 48 stacks on his level 1. So no rebirth action. The only one that hasn't chosen yet is, okay, Jojo, and there it is. It's the upgrade on the Blessed Shield. Now, can the blue team somehow bring this one back? That would be incredible. I mean, if they pulled that off, that would be something. Experience-wise, a lot more minion experience for the Enjoyers. That's all is said and done. Yeah, down at the bottom of the map. It's Leoki who's dead again. Yeah, Leoki is gone. Richu got eliminated. This is now number 7. Right, 7 times. 62,000 damage from Hanzo. And there's another turn-in. What is this? Turn-in number 6? Wait, is this turn-in number 6? No, this is number 4, right? I have to actually check on the... I have to check once they're coming down. I stopped counting at some point. But they had an absurd amount of turn-ins compared to the blue team. We're now 19 minutes into the game. And they are going at it again. The problem really for the Enjoyers is that they just lost so many heroes earlier and lost so many gems. So they would still have a chance to get their own turn-ins and gain some momentum. But this makes it incredibly difficult for them. Not impossible, but they basically have to hope for names are overrated to screw up and for them to then exploit the situation. We have 81 stacks for Cassia, so that's something. Can work with that. they still defend the keep in the middle, which is pretty respectable, to tell you the truth. It's very difficult for names are overrated to push into these structures. They had trouble with that the entire game long. They were always able to get some kills and then get the turn in, but they're having a tough time taking those structures out. Arrow misses because the target is already dead and gone. So with Oriel eliminated, all of a sudden that keep is wide open. Leoki is defending the top lane, or at least trying to, but the keep is gone. That's the same that's happening in the middle of the map. And I suppose that right here it's going to maybe even stop. Can we get another kill? Oriel is down for another 40 seconds. That's plenty of time. And off we go. Leoki down. 5 versus 3 now. And this should be the big opportunity. This is the chance right there. Cassia is dropped, and this is where names are overrated is going to take it. The Enjoyers are going to say goodbye. Tomb of the Spider Queen goes to the red team. Nicely done, I gotta say. Very well played by Names Are Overrated. Deserved victory here on the second map of the best of 5 series in the last chance qualifying, the losers bracket. So we're headed to game number 3 in just a moment. GG, well played. Coming up next, we have the third map of the series. If you guys enjoy the content, also consider to head over to patreon.com/Khaldor. Support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive there. It's the best way to support the channel. Huge shout out to everybody that is already a supporter. You guys are really helping to keep this alive, and you help us to host event after event for the game here. Especially after Blizzard abandoning this already 7 years ago. It's absolutely fantastic that we're still able to do this here. So big shout out to all of the supporters. And again, if you enjoy the coverage, if you would like to support us, head over there and check it out. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the next game. Game number 3. Off we go. So Cursed Hollow is our map. We got a 1-1. Names Are Overrated with a great start there. So yeah, this should be a pretty fun one. Looking forward to this. I've just bemoaned a little bit the fact that these days we don't have HGC around for a very different reason than most people think. For me, it was always nice to watch pro players, you know, play, practice, scrim, and I could do that also when I did my sports and other stuff. So again, I cycle a lot, do a lot of road races, cycling, or work out in the gym. And it's always nice when you could, in the meantime, between sets or while you're doing your indoor workout on a cycling trainer, when you could just like watch some pro players play. And these days there's just nothing like that around that gives me that long form content, so it's a bit of a shame because all of the competition is basically run in Heroes of the Storm is run here. So kind of involved with that, but yeah, that's one of the reasons why I still have hopes that something like March of Giants, for example, is going to take off, because that would give me more material to check out when I have either my gym workout going on or the cycling training. That would really help, since podcasts, like, there's not that many podcasts around that are long form, like really long form, so that you can spend an hour or two with it, that are appearing in a frequency that that just gives you enough content for that. So it's a little bit of a shame there. So I hope that we're gonna get some competitive game that really hits me again, so that I have a bit more to check out and watch there. It's kind of wild, by the way, now looking at the draft. First of all, this is now the second time that Sylvanas goes up against Anduin, and it is the third time that we have Anduin variant together. I've been jokingly saying in the draft of map number 2 that it seems that they're battling for the father-son duo, but right now it's actually that way. Karrigan gets banned again. We had Blaze, Hanzo taken out by the other team. Tyrael again played more and more these days. But it's really a surprise to me to see the heavy focus on Anduin and Varian at this point, together with Hogger. So currently the Enjoyers are running the exact same draft that they were using on Infernal Shrines. If they are adding, I mean, they can't add Karrigan to it, but just imagine Vala getting played again by Limu, and then Briss just going for another assassin type melee character. I don't know, throwing Thrall into the mix or whatnot, or Imperius. And all of a sudden we would have a very similar lineup in their hands. Brightwing for the red team. The Haka banned, so the only other globe that you have here would be Falstad. We get Sonya, the Eminem of the Storm, in the house. Wild Eyes, Orange Wig. Can only be Eminem. Mom Spaghetti right there. So, show me what you got. Are we going to get another Vala play from Limu, or what's going to be the move? Sylvanas already taken by the opponent's team. Cassia is up. Could be claimed. Genji, fair enough, and we get Greymane. Genji, Greymane. I'm sure that there's some World of Warcraft lore involved right now with Greymane, Varian, and Anduin on the same side. So 100%. The lore nerds can definitely chip in on that. Greymane has to be the alpha in that setup. It's definitely not Anduin. Might be Varian, but my money is on Greymane. That guy has spunk. So, final pick, map 3. We get Thrall. There he is, Green Jesus. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Cursed Hollow is our third map. Which team's gonna take the lead? This is best of 5 series in the losers bracket of the last chance qualifier. So, without further ado, let's go. The Enjoyers, they finally busted out Anduin Genji, the light bomb combo with a Swift Strike. Over on the left, we have Gamerboy on Anduin, Richu on Hogger, Limu's playing Genji, we got Briss on Greymane, and Arian on Varian. As over on the left side, it is names overrated with the Dark Wolf on Tyrael, Hanzuka on Brightwing, Mr. Tycho is playing Sonya, we got Philadelphia on Thrall, and Madron on Sylvanas. So apparently if you follow Blizzard lore, then Varian was the king of the Alliance and Greymane served him, and now that Varian is gone, Greymane serves Anduin. That is at least what Blizzard wants you to believe. But honestly, if you dig a little bit deeper and if you just, you know, browse a little bit through social media and really uncover the real true story, then there is a lot more to it than that. I mean, first of all, the first question that you gotta ask yourself, Varian is dead, so who really killed him, right? There are rumors out there, I mean, people are saying, I've heard at least, that some are suspecting that Greymane, you know, had a certain hand in this. I mean, Greymane, he is a devious little wolf, and there is something to the theory, in my opinion, that Varian was just a bit too strong of a ruler, and Greymane couldn't manipulate him properly, so he got rid of him to put his weak son into a position of power, because it's much easier to manipulate Anduin. And if you think that that is totally made up, then I gotta tell you, you haven't really looked into the data as much that I have, because there is some clear truth to that Blizzard doesn't want you to know about. So I think Greymane is really the mastermind behind all of this and is manipulating Anduin. Anduin was always a bit of a weak flower and is easily led by his superiors. And also easily disposable. I mean, if Anduin at any point turns out to be too much of a problem, then getting rid of him. I mean, look at him. He's riding a fucking pony. I mean, what do you want him to tell me here? Like, it speaks for itself. So, yeah. Greymane, he's the real alpha dog right there. I mean, he's literally a dog. So, what more do you need to know? What more proof do you need here? Sylvanas in the mid lane. They're already starting to attack a little bit. But, well, on this end, we have with level 1 talents also the Trolling Thunder. And a pretty nice push in the mid lane now by Tyrael with Sylvanas, who is starting to jump away. Gets met by Varian, and he gets the kill on Sylvanas and on Tyrael. And you know, it's plays like this. Like, Greymane figured that he would be much better off with Anduin in charge, because you can see how Varian, he's really someone that knows how to fight. He anticipated that play right from the get-go. He saw Sylvanas trying to get away there, and if Varian was in charge, then this wouldn't even be a contest. That said, Thrall, obviously, he rules them all, even though he has a shitty mount, but this is just his attempt to show dominance, because he's like, I don't need a sexy mount. Anything that carries me into battle is going to die anyways. So, is what it is. 2 kills to 0. We got the push at the top lane after losing map number 2, the Enjoyers, in a pretty interesting spot here. Because if they can now push ahead again, it would put them in a position where they can potentially end it on map number 4. We got Genji now with Dragon Claw on level 4 for a little bit of extra burst here. And if he starts to dive in with a light bomb as a follow-up, then he can do quite a bit on this. Now, since we have Hogger still poking around at the bot lane, this is also where the first tribute spawns. The red team is gathering around it. There's again the taunt, and Sylvanas is killed once more. This time Genji came in, Limu was able to get himself the kill. Has to jump out, but yeah, there's the interrupt. Quest is completed for Thrall, so really nice job by him. Very early completion of that level 4 talent. And with Brightwing still sitting at the top lane and being afraid to join the fight, we have the tribute claimed by the blue team. Greyman is starting to rotate towards the top, as we have for Genji the Augmented Guard right there. Already leading a little bit to what we could potentially see on level 20. Level 7 talents as they kick in. That gives us for the red team also the Burning Halo. And we get, of course, the Ancestral Wrath, the only talent that is really worth picking for Thrall on level 7. Nothing else makes any sense on this. The Globe over here starts to push a little bit more aggressively on this one too. They're going straight on for Hogger though, and no way. He actually made it out. Richu. Oh, ho, ho, ho. He nearly walked into his death here. I mean, good man, he's still alive, but boy, that was rough. So he's still playing around the fort and is trying to use the new defensive mechanic here. And he's doing pretty well with that extra armor, but yeah, survivability is one thing. Pushing the opponent back, a completely different story. And doing with a good pull, bringing Daddy back to safety. But we have the red team now in full control over the space around the tribute. Unless, of course, somebody's going to go down here. And Tyrael is running out of mana quickly, so that's starting to become a problem. We might still have that fountain cooldown on and can tap, but we'll have to, as we have Siege Giants pushing to the top lane. Once again, we also have Mr. Tyke with another spear, gets taunted, and boy, the blue team is suffering. They take the tribute, but Greymane is gone. Sonya gets eliminated too. And of course, on top of that, we still have Thrall trying to chase down Gamer Boy, going for Ando in here, but another taunt, and with Genji joining the fun, it's a 3 versus 1, and that's a bit too much for Thrall to handle. So he goes down, we have 5 kills to 1, and a big lead for the Enjoyers, as they are coming through with another kill. Brightwing, this time the victim, and gets eliminated too. And of course, they're now all alone up at the top lane, ready to push, and, well, since they can dive structures pretty easily as soon as minions are in range, that's a good shot that they are trying to do exactly that. The bad news, honestly, for the Enjoyers with that situation was that the timing didn't work out for them to have a minion wave ready as they were pushing in, or they could have taken that fort out for sure. But without any minions around that could get inspired, they were a little bit slower to do the damage, and now the fort is only down to 50% of its HP. So yeah, with a minion wave at hand, that would have been the end of the first fort. We're on level 10 though. That gives us the bullet, and we get the Dragon Blade for Genji. Limu sitting in the middle and playing this one out against Hanzuka and Madron for now. Oh, gets bullied quickly, but Anduin is also around and is not letting anything happen here. We have level 10 abilities. That gives us Leap, Wailing Arrow, and since the tribute is now spawning, and this will be tribute number 3 if the red team doesn't get it, they have to make a move around that. So we are in a position where we could get, we could now get Judgment into a Leap, into Wailing Arrow, and even a Sundering afterwards. You just have to make sure that you're not screwing things up with the Sundering. That's the only thing. Leap is there. And bam! The flea back is gone. Brightwing takes down Hogger. Brightwing gets punished. The Wailing Arrow. Beautiful connect from Sylvanas. But it doesn't help them to get another kill. They should get that tribute. But everybody is slowly starting to fall back once again. Mid lane pressured by the camp. But it's Sylvanas that channels the tribute and grabs it with ease. Yeah, nice kill. 4 names are overrated. That was an important one. They were struggling ever since they got the first one. So it's been taking them a while. Down at the bottom of the map, Limu, he's still rocking it on Genji, and he's doing a fantastic job here. The team is now pushing for structures once again. He's getting good damage in on the gate and one of the towers. And it seems like it's boss time for the Enjoyers. At least Hogger is sitting around here. They are attempting to push a bit more aggressively down at the bottom of the map. Hogger is still sitting at the boss, but apparently they're not fully committed to it yet. With Greymane, they could fairly easily grab it, but there's also another tribute coming up, which means that we're now looking for that curse. Genji is still at the bottom of the map, though. The rest of the team is slowly moving topside. But we already have Sonya in position. Varian is going to find that... well, I guess this is a curse. Nobody is going to be there in time. Damn. They gave that up. Alright, this is going to get interesting now. There's the shockwave. Sundering. Whoa.
Another jump from Sonya. Light Bomb. Varian doesn't really know where to go at first. Hogger is gone. That's a 5 versus 4 in favor of names are overrated. Definitely going to make their defense a bit better, a bit easier. And it would probably benefit the Enjoyers to split on the map a bit. Genji could very easily rotate to a different lane. They are going to get that fort at the top lane anyways. Genji actually wants to go for the back line and try and get a kill here. Down at the bottom of the map there's a Siege Giant camp too. So they might actually end up not getting a whole lot more than the fort at the top. But with a kill on Tyrael, this could now change. We have Varian eliminated. Brightwing jumped back into the fight. Is a bit low, but so is Greymane. And Genji is not gonna get that kill. Protected. Shield. And is able to get out. Even with Sonya's follow-up, there's no way to take Limu apart. Level 13 talents for names are overrated now, as Richu is pushing at the bot lane. And I don't know what to tell you, but that curse did nothing. They got the fort at the top, big whoop. It was not going to do anything for them. I mean, that thing was down to 50% of its HP anyways. They could have just pushed for that even after a normal team fight. So that curse did nothing. Nada. There was a Siege Giant camp at the bottom of the map that stopped the blue team from pushing in there. They didn't get value in the middle either. So that wasn't really a win or anything. Now we get the next boss being attacked for. Blue team has already... I mean, the top side boss has been taken. The blue team is not quite where they need to be. There's Leap. And that's a kill on Genji. There's Sundering that comes through. And they're going to get absolutely wrecked right now. Boss is taken. 3 heroes are lost. Make it 4. What an absolute disaster. What an absolute annihilation. The timing perfect on the boss. Leap from Sonya. The Sundering couldn't save it. They lost Genji instantly. Then they lose the rest of the team. Topside fort is gone. The one at the bottom is going to fall. They're pushing with Sylvanas for the keep directly. 9 kills to 8. And utter destruction against the Enjoyers. They're getting hammered in that fight. I mean, and not the good kind. Boy, oh boy, that was rough. That timing was so off for the blue team as they were trying to take their boss. Now we have level 16 talents, 2-level lead. Thunderstorm is ready for Thrall. And the boss is still pushing at the bottom of the map. Oh my god. Yeah, so... that performance from the Enjoyers in that last fight was softer than a rabbit in a pillow store. Here comes the next stun comp. They go for Anduin, and they get the kill there too. Anduin is gone. They can get another fort. The keep at the bot lane is taking damage, and it is Momentum City over here. What an enormous amount of pressure now from names are overrated. I mean, we got them with 40,000 damage for Thrall, 38,000 for Sylvanas. 36,000 on the other side for Genji, who's the only one who is more or less putting up a bit of a fight here, when it comes to the numbers at least. And here's another tribute, which now makes 2 on the red team side, so they are soon going to be the team that threatens a curse here. I gotta say, it looked good in the early game. The Enjoyers, they won the first map, then lost in Tomb of the Spider Queen, and now in game 3, they were the ones that had, at the beginning at least, a nice spot going for them. But, well, this is quickly changing, because right now the game has fully flipped, and it is the red team that is making all the big plays and is setting the agenda of this. Also reflected, of course, in the experience gains. Hero XP is far up, minion experience also advantageous. We have Genji and the rest of the blue team now with level 16 talent, so they can fight on even footing again for that tribute at the bottom, which they will have to, or they're gonna get cursed. But yeah, that just turned the entire game on its head. So many structures destroyed on the blue team side. Now, we'll see if they somehow are able to bring this back. Maybe Genji can make a light bomb play into the backline. Follow up from Hogger with a good stun would of course go a long way. But the poke is happening from Thrall, who has 4 stacks now. Needs to be a little bit more careful. Well, needs to be a bit careful with his targeting just in general, but obviously having that damage increase here is going to be pretty sick as this continues to play out. They want to keep them away from the tribute. They do, and there's the curse. So now we will likely see some keeps fall. Yeah, they're burning those down very quickly. Possession being used too, so they got some minions with them already as they're starting to push in. And they can push for the top, for the middle, for the bot lane. Minion waves are appearing on all 3 of them right in front of the keeps. There's the attack. And oh, Tyrael! Okay! Tyrael pulls off a Houdini as Greymane just makes him disappear. I mean, Tyrael just was gone within a second. And that is... yeah, that was an awesome defense. And it really, really annoys names are overrated. Because, yeah, that was rough. But at least they re-engaged at the bot lane to take 1 keep out. So that's a bit of a win, I suppose. They're getting 1. They would have likely been able to get a lot more if not for Tyrael's death. But they're still alright. Blue team also has to be a bit careful that they're not over-chasing. Because if Thrall turns around with a wolf, there's still leap from Sonya that can be used to force that fight. Now it's 9 kills to 10, so they're fairly close. We are 15 minutes into the game now. And they are rotating towards the top to try and take that boss. It's a 5 versus 5. And the blue team is ready. Blue team wants to contest it this time. They are actually going for it even before the boss is taken. They're just straight up forcing that fight. They want Tyrael again, and he nearly dies. Brightwing saves the day. But Tyrael was about to disappear again. It's actually kind of nuts. Seems like the blue team has just declared Tyrael to be the link on the side of names are overrated. And they want to go for him and take him down. So here's once more Sundering. Judgment attempt, but interrupted. Leap came through too. Not as much of an impact as we were hoping for. Genji is alive. Good pull by Anduin. Well done. That would have been disastrous, but Varian gets taken down by Thrall for the Horde. Thrall comes in and drops the puny Alliance leader, takes him out, and now they go for Hogger and drop him as well. They take all of them out there in an absolute killing spree. Bottom of the map, we have a triple catapult slowly making their way towards the core. Yeah, and top side, that's where the boss is now getting attacked. So that push through the top lane that we're likely going to see with a level 20 talent advantage for the red team might as well result in another keep getting murdered. Dealing with the bottom of the map, Brightwing with the invisible friends, the only kind that Brightwing has and deserves. Taking the Bolt of the Storm, and the red team apparently wants to make a double boss play and then go for the core through the bot lane instead of pushing at the top. I mean, they can still have Brightwing at the top to do a little bit of work, but that's essentially it. Top of that, we got the Angel of Justice now in. And we get the Crater for Sonya. No Chen for a full washing machine. But hey, you take what you get. So, boss is already up at the top lane. Bottom boss is taken. And this is going to be the play for game. Names are overrated. They want to take the lead here. They want to take the lead, and this could get them there. No level 20 yet for the Enjoyers. Thrall on 58,000 damage. Greymane is at 44. 2 respective top damage dealers on their team. Catapult's already in. Yeah, shield is out. Hogger pogging. And the big stun combo against Sylvanas, and she's gone. You gotta give it to the blue team. They're doing a fantastic job. Crater is out. Judgment is being used. The Dark Wolf is still trapped, and that's a triple kill. Triple kill against the red team, and this entire push has been shut down. You really gotta give it to the Enjoyers. They are defending incredibly well here. Their core is losing hit points, but without these quick kills, the core would have fallen 100%. The boss alone got it to 78%. Imagine the entire team pushing and auto-attacking. This is a wild one. This is a wild third map. This entire series has been a bit bonkers, but game number 3 is kind of nasty. So, what can the blue team pull off here? They're not that far behind. They just need to take some structures out. And with death timers as high as they are, they're trying to get some minions in, and now do. So, there's not a lot, but they will get this fort for sure, of course. Even without the minions, they would be able to pull that off. But as they appear, they are taking out the fort in the middle. If they can, they should try and claim the one at the bottom of the map as well. They need to push this lane out a little bit more. They need to try and get some counter pressure against these catapults that are now spawning. But of course, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than that. To be honest with you, I would have preferred them going straight up for the bot lane fort. There were no minions there. but it would have been much better for them to relieve some of the bot lane pressure. But this game is wild. I mean, this game is really wild. Bosses are not going to be up for a while. We have the blue team still down at the bottom of the map, trying to take those minion waves out. For Greymane, we got Hunter's Blunderboss. We also have Dragon Becomes Me, Sensor for Anduin. And it's gonna get more than a bit interesting now regarding the plays around the camps. I mean, the thing is, the next tribute is also not that important just yet, because each team has one. So it will come down to a fight over either the objective eventually, or we're looking at boss battles again, unless somebody is falling into a trap. And there are some traps being set up here. They're all playing with vision right now, trying to lure the opponent into a spot. Judgment! And yeah. The thing is, they can just YOLO Judgment out because the cooldown is now low. Very, very low, considering. The level 20 talent is giving that a massive reduction. And this obviously helps a lot. So you have the extended cast range, you have the cooldown reduction, and the red team gets the tribute at the bottom of the map for free. Doesn't take that much longer either for the bosses to reappear on the map. So top side is up in under a minute. So very, very soon. Genji! Leap! And gone. Yep, Judgment and Leap queued up, and Genji is eliminated. I kind of feel bad for the Enjoyers a bit here, because they did such a fantastic job getting back into the game, and now it's just a situation like this, where a hero that is traditionally quite safe when he's out on the map, like Genji, gets blown up within half a second, and now names are overrated are just pushing, and they should really capitalize on this. Genji was a huge problem for them. They try to get that keep, might be able to pull that off, and again the defense. I gotta say, the defense that we're getting from from the Enjoyers is pretty stellar. The tribute is spawning now though, and this is gonna be a curse. And the boss at the top lane is also up. So this is where it starts to get a little bit iffy. They wanna get the boss at the top side. And even if the blue team locks in the tribute at the bottom of the map, it's not gonna give them a curse. So this is still making this all a bit awkward, and it's all because of Genji dying. Siege Giants are doing a bit of damage here. The catapult in the back is absolutely griefing again. Boss is claimed. Tribute at the bottom is going to get channeled through. And now, of course, the play through, well, maybe the top, or it's another play for the boss at the bottom of the map. And since the red team is currently falling back, there is actually a good chance that they're just trying to go for the bot lane boss again. And to be honest with you, the blue team is misplaying this right now. Blue team has vision. They see this. I don't understand why they're going to the top. I mean, I'm sorry, boys, but if you lose the boss at the bottom of the map, this is over. Hello? Hello? Yoo-hoo! Team? Okay. Am I the only one that thinks that's insane? This guy is doing damage anyways, and he's, yes, will take out the keep, but losing the boss at the bottom of the map is going to lose you the game. So, I'm not quite sure what they're doing here, but now they lose Greymane. Hogger is going for some big pogs, but that game is over anyways. Greymane down, Genji down, not that it matters. I mean, they lose the team fight here, but there's two bosses on the core, and we're now 23 minutes in. So this was always doomed after the bot lane boss was taken as well. You gotta give it to names overrated. We had some fantastic defense moments from the blue team, but at the end of the day, the red team is just a bit stronger here and takes the lead in the best of 5. GG.
Towers of Doom, our third map, sorry, the fourth map, match point number 1, as we have a 2-1 lead now for names overrated. I mean, great job by them on Cursed Hollow. I was honestly expecting the blue team to make more of a comeback. With how diligent they were in their defense, I thought that eventually they would have a bit of a break and then, you know, take some structures out. I wasn't quite sure if they would win it, but I really thought that it would be much closer than that towards the end. I still don't really understand what the thought process was behind letting the second boss at the bot lane go. And obviously you can always argue that they don't have the vision that we have on the map, which again is obvious. But the same play, the same rotation was made just previously when the bosses were up. And it was pretty obvious, I think, that names were overrated, were trying to go for the boss at the bottom of the map again. And eventually the Enjoyers went there, they just were too late. So they neither defended the top lane, nor did they take care of the bottom of the map. And they needed to go for that boss defense at the bottom immediately. Their top keep would have fallen either way. The core likely taking some damage to their top lane boss. But the moment that bottom boss gets claimed, it's essentially game over. It's too late in the game, too much scaling. The blue team lost too much as is. I was really impressed at how well they defended up to that point. But, well, as is, we now have the advantage for names overrated. So good for them. Winning 2 in a row here after losing the initial map. The Enjoyers, their first pick, first ban, and they're trying things with Blaze as a first pick. We have Tyrael banned out, playing too much of a role here, and we see that happening quite a lot right now. A lot of Tyrael picks and bans throughout the last chance qualifier. As we start things off with Johanna and Hanzo for names overrated. Tracer and Malfurion. Limo is getting his Tracer. He had his Vala today already. They had success with that. Played Genji and Cassia. Both of those were unsuccessful. And now they're putting him on another one of his key heroes on Tracer. Trying to really, really utilize his strength to bring them to game number 5. But with the next few bans coming in, we have to also think about what they want to get rid of here on the front line. And they ban out Varian. So with them choosing Jojo already, they're obviously not going to pick Varian for a taunt against Tracer. But they don't want to go up against Varian either. I am still a bit intrigued to see what the rest of the damage is. Sergeant Hammer gets banned. Yeah, we saw that already earlier. And now with Tracer taken, if you have that auto attack, that of course can help a lot. Because Tracer can dodge a lot, she can't dodge auto attacks. So, yeah, that would have been problematic for her. But we already have Hanzo. So, what are you going to get with this? Are you just trying to control Tracer from here on out? Or what are the choices? I mean, it's Towers of Doom, so a bit of a different play style. We got the Haka for the top, and we get Anduin. So, once again, Blondie. And with the Haka, you have your global. Again, if you've been sleeping on the last patch, the Haka's Brush Stalker, the cooldown was now increased pretty heavily, up to 240 seconds, aka 4 minutes. But you can reduce it by picking up health globes. So if you pick up health globes right now, either through minion waves or camps that you take, you reduce it, I believe, 40 seconds for every single globe that you pick up. So you can reduce it a lot if you are doing well on the lane. And you're playing well around the minion waves that spawn every 30 seconds right now on the full minute and a half minute. So that was also slightly adjusted in the recent patch. Maiev and Muradin, so a pretty nice front line for Tracer. Blaze, Maiev, Muradin, all of them together here. And then Genji as the final pick, so now that Light Bomb engage, double Shimada by the way, and the Light Bomb engage with Anduin plus Genji here. So Towers of Doom, it's match point, moment of truth. Let's see if names are overrated, can move on to the next round of the loser bracket, or if the Enjoyers are going to force the final map of the series. Game number 4, on the left, the blue team with Arian on Maiev. We get Gamer Boy and Malfurion. Briss is playing Muradin for the blue team as they need to win 2 in a row to make it to the next round of the losers bracket. We get Richu on Blaze and Limu on Tracer as over on the right side. It is names are overrated with the Dark Wolf on Johanna. We got Madron on Genji, Philadelphia on Hanzo, Hanzuka on Anduin, and Mr. Taiko is playing De Haka. So, we'll see who takes it. Currently, just looking at the predictions and the live stream on Twitch, most people seem to think that the Enjoyers they will take it on Towers of Doom, and then we're going to go to a 5th map. So apparently the faith in names are overrated isn't quite there, even after they now won 2 games in a row. So we'll see who is going to claim victory, but it should be an interesting one for sure. With all of that defensive posturing that we saw from the Enjoyers in the last game, they definitely held out for a lot longer than expected. Now, of course, it's a very different map with very different dynamics. Yeah, Genji
Getting attacked right away from Tracer, and they are getting very, very aggro here right underneath those towers. And talking about getting aggro, yep, where's the lick? There it is, and can they get a kill? Tracer gets away. No! Come on! Hanzo was aiming for Tracer and wasn't able to hit her, and then the Haka, he's the one that actually caught Malfurion, and nobody helped him. If I'm the Haka, I'm annoyed. I'm making the big move to try and go for the backline healer, get him to the front, and nobody is targeting him with me, so I think they should have gotten at least one kill. Weren't able to do that. Each team now with their pumpkin camp. And the Haka starting to make his way towards the top on this one. But yeah, well, here's what it is. So down at the bottom of the map now, Limu, of course, he is going to be the one that we really have to watch out for. He's going to be doing a lot of dancing around the opponent's team in an attempt to get those hits. Talking about hits, that jet propulsion is hitting hard, but Jojo still had an iron skin up and could use it after the stun wore off. Gets away here. And Limu in the back line under pressure again. Yeah. Reverberation for Muradin. We got Hanzo with the explosive arrows. Madron. Oh, gets crushed. Nice. Tracer with a very, very cool kill here. Teams fighting fire with fire. Taking Overwatch down with Overwatch. And here we go. I talked about this a couple of months ago, I think. I don't even know how Overwatch and the Overwatch League is even doing these days. I just remember that I always found this format that they were trying to force onto Overwatch esports absolutely silly. The theory behind centering teams around cities makes kind of sense to me because they're just looking at it. This is, by the way, a problem that I think Americans specifically have. Sorry if anybody feels attacked here, but I've worked with a lot of companies in esports, and American companies always want to make esports like real sports, which is one of the dumbest things in my opinion. They always look towards established sports leagues and systems and try and just map them onto esports, completely ignoring that a lot of the advantage that we have in esports are very, very different, that we are not bound to locations like you are, you know, with sports teams that are usually centered around a city for good reason, because that's where you're getting your players from, or at least initially you have like a youth system there, you have high school teams and all of that. So all that grassroots just doesn't exist localized in an esports environment. And with Overwatch, we're trying exactly that system, and I always found that kind of nuts. Yeah, I get the idea behind it, even if you don't know anything about the game, the sports, the scene. They think you just build a fan base where people identify with the team from their city, or at least that's closest. But I never really liked that, and this is a typical American thing. With a lot of tournament systems that companies try to establish, it was also the case in the past. So, yeah. This is really one of the weaknesses, I think, that is oftentimes getting pushed in. So I don't even know how Overwatch is doing here. I just know that the Overwatch heroes that we have in the game, which is kind of what brought me to that tangent, they are currently doing fairly okay, and that's still that OP system. And Blizzard introduced all of those Overwatch characters. They were all a little bit overtuned, like they wanted to sell something. Just saying. But alright, there was a bit of a theme there. But okay. So right now we still have only that one kill that we saw against Genji. That's all that they got so far. Pumpkins still making their way through. Has been a little bit of a tamer early game after the initial minute or two where they were getting mega aggressive. Outside of that, mostly now camp clear that they were focused on. Not more kills, just a little bit of extra poke that is happening. A bit of a jump from Muradin, starting to go in. Philadelphia. Oh, and yeah. Hanzo makes it. Hanzo actually makes it. Anduin gets killed, and the Dark Wolf is gonna fall too. So that's 2 down. That's Anduin and Johanna both gone. 3 kills to 0 in total, and it's not too bad. Enjoyers with a strong start, 1 level ahead. Potential to push at the bottom. Limo is missing this. Spray game is on point. It ain't easy if it's not cheesy. So, yeah. But 4 shots fired, and that puts the red team down to 28 points. The level 10 ability obviously is also now a huge advantage that they can use. We have the Twilight Dream for Malfurion. So no heals, well, some heals from him. No heals on the old, from the old geezer. So the Boomer alert has been sent out, and the red team is now aware that they have to be a little bit more careful about him when he starts to slowly waddle into the opponent's team. It's not because he's looking for pudding, it's because he actually wants to execute a play. Now, bunker at the top. It could... Oh! Nice! Arian is a bit low. Ooh, and he gets still away. But Blaze... It's actually a sad situation. Blaze is the one, you know, that helps everybody, that gets a bunker for them, invites them in, and then they abandon him and just try to survive on their own. As Tracer is, again, doing work at bot lane. Easy dive underneath the bell tower, of course, with minions still around. That's one of the changes in the recent patch. So now it's much, much easier to just dive onto structures if you're trying to get a hero eliminated. The target priority is not shifting as it did before to defend heroes. But they get a counter kill. So now the death of Malfurion. The old guy is gone. And, well, that is maybe the start of a little comeback. Tracer, on the other hand, is just wreaking havoc here. But also is risking a lot, though. Maiev, too, gets the discount after eliminating Hanzo. And, well, here we go. 3 Overwatch characters in total, by the way. So, yeah. Maiev moving into the middle right now to try and get some XP for them. Dehaka has been diligently moving between the middle and the top the entire time. So, teams are aiming for a trade in altars. Hanzuka currently trying over here with... Muradin's actually... They're letting him go. They are focusing on the bot lane right now, hoping that they can get a kill here, but Muradin gets the first channel, and there's actually a chance that the Enjoyers are now getting both of them. That's a bit of a gamble, even with the Haka coming in. So, yes, Limu is low, but he's able to get away. Jojo stopped by Stormbolt, and that's a kill. Johanna is gone, and they're going to get way more than just those kills. That altar will go to the Enjoyers. They're going to get that bell tower. Oh boy, the red team is in trouble. They're losing Hanzo, they're losing the Haka. They've lost way too much in this encounter. This is disastrous for them. That's 10 kills to 2 now. 8 kills ahead, and with another 5 shots now fired, the core is going to go down to 19 points. 19 to 36. The bigger problem, in my humble opinion, is that 2-level gap between the teams, because this is going to be difficult to bridge. So, yeah, this won't be an easy pickings for them. And it's a bit tough. All the way up at the top, we got the Richu now starting to move that back out. Down at the bot lane. Yeah, there's still that pumpkin camp that they can try and connect. But while the defense is focusing very heavily on Muradin, we have Tracer zipping in from the side, aiming for Philadelphia. They're close to getting that kill. Oh, they get it with Maiev just as he was about to be safe. Maiev grabs it. 2 more shots fired as the pumpkins make it through. 17 points now on the core, and level 13 finally for names overrated, but the problem is that the blue team is soon going to have level 16. Yep, that is rough. This is a rough game for names overrated. They found themselves in a really good spot, taking that lead in the series, but it seems like the poll on the live stream had it right so far. Definitely the better position for them. So, push ongoing, 16 soon kicking in, double altar coming up, the horizontal spawn that is traditionally a trade between teams. And all the way up at the top, Richu, yeah, sitting okay here. Taiko is jumping out. Down at the bottom, there's still a few pumpkin camps that they can claim to set them up before the fight around the altars even starts, and that's going to help them to potentially get another few shots onto the core of their opponent. Another Stormbolt hitting home, and so does the disc. They could go for the Haka. Root, Anduin with a pull and the save, but 5 shots already fired against 3 as the top left and top right get channeled. And the pumpkins at the bottom of the map are still an issue. Dark Wolf gets attacked. Low. Richu wants the kill. They fully jump onto Jojo and take her out. The bunker is in and saves everyone for the time being. Madron gets also attacked and killed. They could easily go for the fort with the minion wave that now pushes in. Inspire kicking in, accelerating that progress even further, and the shots have already been fired against the core thanks to the pumpkins. So this is an utter disaster right now. Philadelphia gets blown to pieces. That ragdoll getting kicked around the map. 9 points on the core of names are overrated against the 33 that we're getting for the blue team. 14 kills to 2. Damage output, I mean, 40,000 for Tracer. She's absolutely wrecking it here. And the red team is desperately trying to retake their bell tower at the bottom of the map. Because if they lose the top now as well, then they know the barrage would even end them. And the blue team is not only going for the top side bell tower, they also want the boss and they're going to get it. So that's 4 guaranteed shots fired, which means that the red team score goes down to 5 points. They can't take this one fast enough, but still, that's an awesome spot for the Enjoyers to be in, specifically since we have a triple altar phase coming up, and you guessed it already. That bell tower in the middle, they still control it. 1 altar is all they need. And that should be more than doable. I mean, a single altar, unless they lose their heroes. No. And Malfurion is gone. And Limo is about to get away. Genji! He's dead, but so is Tracer. So, now it's that little party to try and get at least one of the altars. Anduin is already channeling at the bottom of the map. He's going to get that. Dehaka is on Blaze duty. So they're going to try and take him out. Maiev gets Hanzoed by Philadelphia. And they are actually going to defend this. They are actually going to defend this from the looks of it. Malfurion is back in 20 seconds. Hanzo is channeling the top right. 1 altar is all that the blue team needed, and they're not going to get it. 6 shots fired against the Enjoyers, and now they're losing the top left as well. And why? Because they took a silly fight before the objective was spawning. It was already announced. All they had to do was fall back and then just try and play their game. Bit of a B-step happening here. Somebody's having some fun. Richu is apparently enjoying the situation because the opponent can't even see that. So that's not even BM. I personally don't think that B-stepping was ever BM. But yeah, some people like to get their panties into a twist and get outraged about everything, but in this case he couldn't even see it, so he's just having a good old time here. They are all collapsing onto the spot again, and the blue team needs to be careful they're not throwing this game away. If they can win the fight, fantastic, but if the red team takes it, then they're going to be in trouble. Pumpkins! Yep, so far so good. The disc is out, and that's a kill. That's a kill. Jojo is gone. Yeah, well, I mean, they have caught up a little bit, but to tell you the truth, if that specific fight would have gone differently, if the blue team lost another battle right there, then I would have said, okay, comeback in the making. Like this, I don't believe in it yet. I mean, they could. They could. Don't get me wrong. But there's a bell tower now lost at the bottom of the map. And there is an altar spawning bot lane. And I guess they're going to take the bell tower at the top and give up the altar. If they do that, then the channel is not going to end the game. But since nobody is actually helping Dehaka, I don't think they're going to get it this quickly. So I'm not quite sure what exactly names are overrated are going to do here. What's the plan? Is Dehaka just going to tunnel down to the bottom of the map? I suppose he is. Shots are already fired, so this is kind of it. Dehaka comes in as expected. Rest of the team is fighting over here. Light bomb is out. I mean, the core of the red team is now down to 2 points. Maiev is about to fall. Actually, she gets away. Dark Wolf retreated. The Pumpkins made it. Now it's only 2 points on the core. We have level 20, so that's a level 20 advantage currently for the Enjoyers. And they can, they get Anduin and Hanzo's there too. Genji is gone. And that's game. Dehaka is trying to get the channel, but actually he didn't. He's just sitting in the bush here. Doesn't matter anyways. I mean, Dehaka, you can interrupt this if you want, dude. It's not like it's gonna do anything for you, but hey, if it makes you happy, then yes. Just extend the suffering a little bit further. Gets hit hard. That's the 5-man team wipe. Concludes the entire thing. And this is it. We have a 5th game coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Nicely done by the enjoyers. We're going to the final map of the series here in the losers bracket of the last chance qualifier. GG.
Game number 5, we're going the distance. Names are overrated, they got close, but map number 4 didn't really work out for them. So now a bit of a different story. The red team lost, of course, the last map, and then they had the choice between first pick, first ban, and map choice, and they decided that they want to play Dragonshire. The only other map that was still up was Battlefield of Eternity, so the choice was between the two of them. And Names Are Overrated decided, nope, we don't want to have first pick, first ban. We want to make sure that we are playing this one out on Dragonshire. And Tracer gets banned immediately. Limu can be a bit of a beast. We saw his Tracer in game number 1, which was pretty epic. His Genji is also really good, and he had some great moves with Genji too, but it was just not enough for a victory for the enjoyers when he played the hero. So now Whitemane gets banned out as well, and it's an insta-pick on Blaze for them. One of the things that I highlighted a bit earlier, and it's not going to play a role for this series, but we haven't had a single Vikings game yet since the new patch dropped. Mostly because in the games where we had teams that are known for playing the occasional Viking game, we had the Vikings banned on specific maps. But I'm still waiting for that. I still want to see how this is going to work out with the new experience globes, the system that is helping the Vikings just in general, or not so much. So, will be interesting. DeHaga gets locked in by Names Overrated, so they already believed in him on the last map, and now they're trying again with the global. That gives you, of course, a lot of presence. Gets you the experience globes and stuff like this too. Over on the left side, Muradin and Maiev. I've seen similar lineups somewhere. Yeah, they love their Maiev lineup, and this is obviously very reminiscent of what we've just seen on the last map. So, time will tell. It's a super beefy frontline. I mean, it's honestly a bit crazy when you think about it. You have Blaze, Muradin, those two alone are already just super tanky. They have a lot of CC, and then you throw Maiev into the mix, played by Aaron here too. So that's very, very nice for the enjoyers. Malfurion gets banned, so they're trying to screw with that comp at least a bit more than previously. To be fair, Anduin and DeHaga are also familiar picks for Names Are Overrated. So currently what we're doing is basically recreating game number 4, which again didn't go too well for Names Are Overrated, but this is where I would assume that the draft is going to start to deviate away. What is the ace up their sleeves for Names Are Overrated? Do they have one? I mean, they try something. Or do they just really believe that on Dragonshire, even with just a full straight-up draft, they are going to be the superior team here? I mean, that's the case, and great for them. So we get Sylvanas, and we get Thrall. So they're going to play triple frontline again. We're just waiting for the tank to come in and see what they're going to do there. Sylvanas for extra push. It's a bigger map. We get Mr. Tiger and DeHaga, so we can play around this a bit and push for structures. Would have been kind of funny to see a Zagara pick here. We talked about Infest Zagara. We talked about the possibility in the new patch of maybe on a bigger map, bigger than Dragonshire, to see a Nidus network eventually. But we get Tyrande for more stuns, more follow-up, and a damage increase, and then we get Hanzo. So literally every single hero on the side of the blue team has a CC tool. Every single one of them. And on the side of their opponents, I suppose technically that's also the case for Names Are Overrated, but it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same what you have to lock in here and how many ults you would have to use in order to make that happen. Again, let's see what the team is going for. They got Johanna, so we have our triple front line for Names Are Overrated as well. It's map number 5. It is the final map. The loser is out of the tournament. The winner makes it into the next round of the losers bracket. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Dragonshire, game number 5. The enjoyers made it happen. They forced the 5th and final map and now have a chance to end this series with a W and move on. We have Gamer Boy on Tyrande. Richu on Blaze. Muradin is played by Burst with Arion on Maiev and Limu on Hanzo. On the right side of the map, their opponents with the Dark Wolf again on Johanna. We have Madron on Sylvanas. Hanzuka is playing Anduin. We got Mr. Taiko and Dehaka. And Philadelphia is playing Thrall. Even-handed blessings on level 1 here. And time to shine. Also stacks with Lunar Blaze. Increases the range a little bit, which is obviously going to help you to follow up on this. It's kind of old school. Tyradin Miranda. That is the Tyrande Muradin, aka Miranda. That's what I wanted to go for. I think I mixed it twice in a different meta. But yeah, Miranda is something that was played in the past a ton. This is one of the old school sniper comps that you would see teams use in the first years of Heroes of the Storm, especially also during the alpha and the beta phase. Now you have additional follow-ups with Maiev and Blaze that can of course help out to extend that stun even further. But the idea is always the same. You roam the map, jump on the target, you get your stun out, Tyrande follows up, gets the extra damage with the Hunter's Mark on it, and then you just blow it out of the waters. So this is the whole game plan here, and will be, and yeah, exactly like that. So big damage already on the Dark Wolf, for example. Hanzuka had to help out, and there's a Fountain Tap. You won't get the kill against the tank this easily, but as you can already see, this threatened Johanna enough to tap the Fountain early on in the game. Now, at the same time, we're having the quick attack towards the top with the camp, but both teams have claimed their own, so yeah, not that big of a problem right now. And well, with the push continuing up here, we have still at the bottom of the map the duty to soak the lanes, distributed between Maiev and Dehaka. So those are the two taking care of that. The funny thing also with Tyrande is still the owls. Yeah, owls are still very, very fun. And there is still, on the Twitch channel, there is actually an owl command. So there's a lot of commands for like clips of old and back in the day where you had monster owls that could destroy entire teams or heroes. There was one of the best owls that was ever done. Actually, it is definitely the best owl that was ever thrown out there, because after that Tyrande experienced some changes. But we still have a command, so if you ever find yourself on the live stream, !owl is going to give you a link to that, and believe me, it is damn glorious. So, Thrall with stacks, also the same for Johanna. Even though, again, with Subdue, if you complete it, it's amazing, but it's not something that you really bank your hopes on. We have camps claimed. Oh, and an invade! Yep, aggression from the blue team. They are able to get themselves an extra pair of siege giants. Great for them. And are they going to escort that through and try and do some damage down here? Seems like we might see at least a little bit. Dehaka is up against Blaze at the top lane now. And they are pushing, indeed. But they don't have the Sylvana support, but they have... they had... That's actually kind of funny. So if you are Sylvanas and you possess an inspired minion, it doesn't lose the possession... sorry, it doesn't lose the inspire buff, but maintains it for the duration. That's actually funny. So Sylvanas shut down that inspire push very easily by using possession there. But I didn't know that they would not lose immediately that buff, because just from a logical point of view, in my head, I really thought that was the case. But yeah, not so much from the looks of it. Not a single kill so far, by the way. We are approaching minute 4, and we haven't seen a kill yet. But we have, again, an opportunity for the blue team to get themselves a Dragon Knight. And Sylvanas keeps using her possession charges here. So she really wants to help push these lanes a bit. We're also continuing on level 7 with Punish. So, yeah, a bit of a heal reduction is kicking in. And talking about heals, somebody needs a lot of it and gets killed by the wave. Good job, Sylvanas, with some neat moves. And that's first blood in the game. Anduin follows, so he gets eliminated. And they also get Muradin. Still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of names are overrated. Can they do something with it? That's the question, of course, now. Can they get some advantage? For example, a Dragonite. Doesn't seem likely with Maiev now saying hello in the middle. Even with those kills, we still have the upper hand in experience for the Enjoyers. Let's not forget about that. 4 stacks for Tyrande. And yep, down at the bottom of the map, Madron still rushing away and making his way out of that fight. So,
The kills are nice. I mean, them getting the kills now and having an advantage for a couple of seconds is neat, but it's not like they were able to get themselves an objective. This is the big problem when you're playing on Dragon Shy. You need a lot of map control in order to get a single Dragon Knight. Unless your opponent is full on griefing and just doesn't care about it and allows you to make a move immediately onto that. Limu, yeah, he's just hanzoing around at the bot lane. As we have up at the top now, Maiev saying hello and assisting Blaze, who was starting to drop a bit low here. But Arian gets heavily attacked, and that could have been the end. So that hurt. Now we have some counter pressure at the bottom of the map, obviously, as the Enjoyers are also trying to exploit a couple of these lane moments. We have level 10 now in play. That gives us Starfall, amongst other things. One tower down, the gate about to be wrecked, as heroics are kicking in for names are overrated. So that gives us Light Bomb, Blessed Shield, Wailing Arrow, no mind control in this game. And for Thrall, Sundering, trying to get those Sunder flanks in. Still, 6 minutes in, only 3 kills. Not really a whole lot happening in that department. It's game number 5. I mean, every single kill matters. Early on, maybe not as much as later when the death timers have increased, but you already at this point do not want to lose control. If your opponent gets an early Dragon Knight and is able to take Fort out, passive XP starts gathering up and they get more control of the map itself, then it's always spelling out disaster and will make it much harder for you to get back into the game. So it's going to be super interesting to see how this is going to play out, because both of them are playing super cautious right now. They're really paying attention to what they're doing on the map, and nobody wants to end up all of a sudden, you know, just losing a hero because they didn't check a push or whatnot. Siege Giants at the bottom of the map. We have on top of that also the camp that was just now claimed by the Enjoyers, and it starts to push in. If they can set this up with the camp and the new patch mechanic kicking in on minions, they might have a shot at taking that fort out. There's only 2 defenders right now, one being Sylvanas though. So yes, Inspire mechanic is kicking in on the minions. They're getting some serious damage on that fort, but the Haka comes in from behind and all of a sudden it's a 4 versus 4 with the light bomb connecting. Tyrande and Maiev are immediately blown apart, and that is a double kill for names overrated. They lost a lot of hit points on their fort, but still, this is going to help them. And now they can go for that counter push, because they also have, in addition to Sylvanas and the Inspire, well, they need to trigger Inspire. Okay, so there it is. It's auto-attacking the structures a bit. Can now still disable them. Try and go for the kill, and Hanzo gets wrecked. They're diving under the fort, can easily do that, of course. Another minion wave is already moving in as Muradin is starting to become the target. And Tyrande, with her back, she's getting the hits out. Once more, the bunker up from Blaze. Dehaka is getting the Dragon Knight in the middle of the map, by the way. So he grabs the DK, grabs the objective. And all in all, a pretty successful play here for names are overrated. They were able to get themselves extra... I mean, they got extra kills. They got massive amount of experience through that too. Pushed out the lane, nearly destroyed the bottom fort. Now they have the Dragon Knight at the top, and the rest of the team is attempting to push for the destruction of the fort at the bottom of the map, and they should be able to get it. They have a 4 versus 3 going for themselves, and just a bit of poke with Sylvanas should really help. Big arrow from Hanzo coming on from above, and it hits! Muradin is dead, but it still hits Hanzuka and Madron. Not paying attention to the minimap. That's definitely a download that you want to go for. That minimap DLC can save lives. Whereas top right, the Dragon Knight is gone, but the wall is opened up, and the fort is also a bit low here. Thrall, by the way, has not completed his level 4 yet. Still working on it. But the momentum is really here now. I mean, they are getting value. Wall after wall, tower after tower is getting destroyed. The lead and experience for names are overrated. Game number 5 has taken a great turn for them. Problem is that Thrall missed another wolf, so now he is being reset down to 0, which is definitely not part of the plan here. But names are overrated and must feel pretty good right now. That went rather well. Now, they are, of course, not really out of the woods yet. They haven't won this game yet. But they took an important step. Passive experience increase for them is now there. Once again, the follow-up with a stun from Tyrande Blaze hasn't died yet. Muradin sundering, and he just got locked to death. CC all day long right there. The arrow being dodged this time. Limu on the run, and they want to go for the fort from the looks of it. Try and get some damage in here. Level 16 is very close too. They want another kill, and they get it. Maiev says bye-bye. She's gone.
And we say bye-bye.
And down at the bottom of the map, yep, we have siege giants that need to be dealt with before they make it into fort range, but that gives them the lead in talents. So now we have the double pull for Anduin, still the aggression throughout the middle. Objective is popping up in another 22 seconds, and Thrall, as previously already seen, has gone for Thunderstorm again. Not bad. Half a level, one level lead, half a level until the blue team has their own level 16 talent. So now they have to try and get themselves another Dragonite, but they have the momentum on the map. And for the enjoyers, it's really rough to not get any kills here. They are doing pretty okay when it comes to minion experience, and also mercenary experience the blue team is leading. It's one of the main reasons why they're not farther behind than they actually are, because passive XP is obvious, you know, slowly starting to tilt more heavily towards names are overrated. But where the red team is really scoring is hero XP. This is where they have taken a mad advantage. But both teams have now level 16 talents, and the blue team is still very eager to fight. Let's shield out. Arrow. Sundering still made it, but no kill on Johanna. So Jojo was able to move away from this. Top side is Dehaka still dealing with the camp, trying to basically enhance his own. And they're applying additional pressure, of course, by controlling both of the shrines. So with Dehaka being able to just slow down a potential grab from Blaze at the top, the red team is forcing them into the middle. Forcing them into a fight over here. Dehaka is maintaining the control, and there's catapults also pushing at the bottom of the map. We're now 12 minutes into the game. This is not going to do too much damage just yet, but hey, a catapult on the walls, a catapult on the tower is going to drop this eventually. And the pings are happening too. There's also a camp moving through the top lane, so there's a lot of movement happening on the map. A lot of points where things are starting to get a bit tricky for the blue team. And Hanzo, for example, is now dealing with the catapult at the bottom of the map. Top side, control is still there. Blaze was able to retake the shrine, so that gave them a moment of relief. But we're basically back to where we just started a second ago, with a double control for names are overrated. Owls are being thrown out, and it's all about protecting the mid lane again. So, yeah, there we go. And they are starting to make the play for Muradin again, as we saw already previously. And he makes it out, barely. Oh, what? Okay. Dehaka, he is still alive here. Blaze dove in, but didn't connect the stun. They're still a level behind, but they're really trying to get themselves a few kills too. And Joyas are all over it right now. Really looking for those stun connects. And I said it already during the draft that there are just so many CC tools that they're currently using here. It can get nasty quickly. Blaze, again, has to be careful too. Double control on those shrines has not let up. We have 46,000 damage for Hanzo right now. And Tyrande is dead. Tyrande is gone. They got her. The green-haired Karen is eliminated, and Maiev follows. So they get the second kill. 10 kills to 1. Muradin gets stopped straight in his tracks, and that is 3 down. Blaze gets interrupted on the hearth back. They're chasing them away, and that allows Dehaka to get an easy Dragonite, and they get Hanzo as well. Damn. Hanzo got locked down by Philadelphia, who still hasn't completed his level 4 quest, but it doesn't really matter. He's pointing in the damage numbers, and he also allowed them to get that big kill that we just saw a second ago. It's half a level until names are overrated, hits their 20. And they're getting closer and closer to a potential victory, not only this map, but the entire match. So they are doing pretty well. And I gotta tell you, when talking about the live stream audience, they do not believe in names are overrated. Nobody bet on the team. Everybody thought the enjoyers would take it. So when you look over at that poll, then names are overrated had very little support here. Most people were thinking that after the last map in particular, the blue team would continue their win streak, but far from it. 20 is in, and they want to go for the core directly from the looks of it. They've eliminated the keep. Anything else, they go core, so they have to make a decision here. Core, or do they just fall back? It's one or the other. You can still go for the fort in the middle. Big arrow. Oh my god, they really didn't pay attention on that one. Still, they are alive. Good ult also from the Haka. And the fight gets turned and Blaze nearly dies. Oof. Blaze was nearly dead and then just bunkered up in that last moment possible. The Haka still sitting at the side. Comes in with a lick and they nearly get Maiev, but instead the Haka falls. The Enjoyers have not given up on this game yet. The Enjoyers have not given up on yet. Thrall with a beautiful Bolt of the Storm straight onto Maiev to get that kill. Got the kill and turned the fight around again. Still a 4 versus 4, but look at this one. Light Bomb comes in. The Haka falls first. Then the Light Bomb on Thrall. And then he just comes in with a Bolt of the Storm. Gets the stun connected on Maiev and works the kill in. 13 kills to 2. I gotta say though, names are overrated. They still should try and push that level 20 advantage a bit more than they do. The fort in the middle that falls is a must. On top of that, if you can at least open some walls on these keeps, that's going to help you in the long run. Having one lane completely opened up is fantastic, but you want to get a bit more out of this, of course, if you can. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, right now, Siege Giants are slowly being grabbed here. This is something that names are overrated could also have gone for. But as I already mentioned, at a minimum, they need to destroy. I mean, it's not even a minimum. This is just basic. This is just common sense right there. This thing does not exist anymore. Send anyone in and they can take it out. Top side, that's where we have the minions taken out again. A couple of charges also unleashed from Sylvanas again with possession. But the fort in the middle is now gone. So they send, I think, Jojo in with another hit on her shield glare to drop that. The objective's now coming up, but we have level 20 for the Enjoyers. So names already did not push that advantage anymore. In case, we now have Shadow of Vengeance, Rewind, Fortified Bunker, Celestial Wrath, and Bullseye for Hanzo. Control of the top lane has already been established by the Haka, and this is really where we are going to see if the Enjoyers are able to fight back. Because they are way behind in structures, but at least we have even talents now. This is the moment where they can start to pull some fights off again. Maiev went in hard, but Thrall just bolted out. And the Haka is doing a great job at the top. Yeah, that's where the Inspire mechanic is kicking in and bearing real fruit. Look at this. Huge amount of backline minions that do real damage. And then you have the camp too. The Haka is already moving out and is trying to get the channel, which they're not able to grab. But that was some serious damage through the top lane, taking the entire wall down. And they also grabbed themselves that Dragonite. They zoned Muradin away and then grabbed the DK. So now they can do a bit more. Right here, this is the opportunity to open another keep up. They don't want to go for the core directly through the bot lane, but they opened the top lane up already and now they're working on the middle. But I really like that the Haka push up at the top. Like, that was just him moving in, couple of auto attacks, proccing Inspire on the minion wave with the new patch and making sure that before he retreated that they would get value out of it before helping the team to grab the objective itself. So right now they are getting some damage in on the keep. Dragonite is very low though and will soon expire here. Good arrow, jet propulsion, but not enough to get a kill. Instead it's Muradin. Oh, and Maiev. Oh no, that's all three of them. Muradin, Maiev, and Hanzo are all dead, and that is it. Blaze is gonna die too in just a moment. Actually, it seems like he's gonna make it out of that fight, but that's only 3 defenders, and that's not gonna be enough. We have catapults already on the core, starting to work on the shield, and the rest of the team is moving in. Guys, they actually pulled it off. Names are overrated. I would still argue they were the underdogs coming into the series. It was a very close battle. The Enjoyers with a fantastic effort here, but on game number 5, it's the red team that takes it. The blue team eliminated from the tournament as names are overrated. Move on to the next round of the last chance qualifier. GG.